Hi, hi, hi. Welcome back to RM Podcast FL. This is your host, Romina. Welcome to the second episode of the interview with Ray Weisenbarger. I know the first interview had a lot of information in there, and I cut the interview right as we start talking about door-to-door sales, which a lot of people think that is insane to do, but welcome to my life. Me and Ray kind of get into deep details of how door-to-door sales build you as a character, and that's when you really true learn sales experience. So without losing any time, let's jump right in. But before you do so, if you have yet heard the first episode, go ahead and listen to the Tuesday's episode. A lot of information you definitely do not want to miss, and just everything would make more sense with the second episode. So without any time, let's jump right in. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Then I started doing some door-to-door sales and learning how to do a door-to-door sales company and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
so we both work door-to-door sales. So how was that experience starting for you?
For me, it was, I thought I was above it at first. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I'm so above this. I'm so above this and blah, blah. I'm so above. I've got a master's degree.
Better.
I'm a UCLA. I went to UCLA. I coached at UCLA. I thought I was above it at first, and then I started kind of peeling back the layers of society, kind of to what we're talking about. And I realized really quickly, a lot of people that I graduated with that were getting master's degrees weren't making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I kind of woke up like most people that I talk about in my book. Like, you kind of wake up and realize, like, what they sold us was bullcrap, kind of like the makeup thing, like we were talking about, like the fake up. Like, we were sold the idea that if we went to school and got our college education, that we would have tons of jobs and we'd make tons of money and blah, 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 blah. Well, all of us in our generation, we went out and got our college degree. We got in a crap ton of debt. And we sold our soul to get that degree. And then when we got a degree, we realized we had to take $25,000
But
jobs.
again, you didn't get a degree on liberal arts. And,
Yes.
like, that's a different topic.
Yeah,
if you're going to
yeah.
get a degree, get it on something that is going to benefit you.
Exactly,
Like,
right?
I'm going to school right now because I want to. Nobody's making me. I want to learn about business.
Yeah.
I literally want to learn about taxes.
Yeah.
Want to learn accounting.
Amen, sister.
Something that will be helpful.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But most of us were
But some people finish degrees that they can do nothing with them just so they can have a Bachelor of Science, a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, and what for me was interesting was what I was sold. This is what I was sold was that if you get this degree, it will take care of everything in your life. It will take care of everything. But the problem is you've got to live life. You've got to do all the things that you want to do. You have to actually put the work in to get those things. When I was growing up, I was sold this idea that if you get your degree, everything just takes care of itself. The company will take care of you and this, and you'll make tons of money. And that's not how it works. And a lot of times, I was supposed to be on a path as a strength coach. Well, I was like, no, I'm good. And then I got into sales, and I thought I was above it. I thought I was above sales. I thought I was above talking to people because I have a master's degree.
And that was your first sales job, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was my first sales job. And then I started just doing the math and realizing, I was like, wait a minute, so entry level with some of these jobs, you make like double the amount of money that most people are making sitting on their butts.
Welcome to sales.
Welcome to sales. I was like, oh, interesting. And a lot of the people that were making a lot of money, they weren't in debt like I was. They didn't have college degrees like I was. They just went out and sold some stuff to people. And I was like, what? You serious? And then I started like seeing how much sales managers make. And then I started experiencing it for myself.
Yeah.
And then when I realized, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, man, like, I have more freedom. I have more freedom in my time. And all I got to do is go and talk to people. That's it?
Yeah.
And I make more money? Interesting. Go ahead.
Talk to people, but also know what you're saying.
Yeah, right? So it was just very interesting to me because at first I was like, I'm so above this. Now I'm like, why wasn't I doing this earlier? You know what I mean? And for me, the things I love about sales, I love the people interaction. You know what I mean? Because I'm a hermit by nature. Left to my own devices, I will go to the gym, grab some food on the way home, and just go back to my home and chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when my wife and daughters are out of town, that's all I do. Lift weights, whatever. I don't like talking to people, right? But
But you love talking also.
I love talking. Yeah, like, it's the two sides. I'm a walking
dichotomy. I can match with that. You're either home completely spaced out, turn off your phone, don't care about nothing, or you're either literally just talking to people, building relations.
Yes.
It's never in between. It's either extremes.
Yeah, I mean, I test as an introvert.
And again, going back to my mom saying, "You're weird. You're different." When I was a little.
Yeah, I test as an introvert, but I'm really like I have extrovert tendencies. But I enjoy just for me. I learned so much more as a salesperson than I ever did in college.
True.
About the world. Like, I learned more Spanish because I went out and sold to Spanish people. Mm-hmm. I learned more things about the world than I ever did in my books. I learned more just interacting with tons of different people, because that's what sales is. You have to interact with so many different people, so many different cultures, and then it kind of opens your eyes to be like, whoa, why have I not traveled to all these different countries? Why have I not seen this stuff? Why have I not, whatever? And that really kind of changed my mind when I became a salesperson was, I worked at UCLA, but all the travel I did was just in the United States.
Is that why you travel now? Because you want to see more?
Oh, yeah. I'm meeting people because I actually went to school with a girl from Albania, which is hilarious. It's funny that you're Albanian, you know what I mean? But, I went to school in high school with a Japanese girl, and I became really good friends with her. That's why I went to Japan when I was younger. And then as I'm doing sales, like I'm meeting all these different people from like Brazil. Well, I want to go to Brazil.
Yeah.
Meet people from London.
Oh, you did go to Brazil and you ended up in TV too.
Yeah. So like I all the places that I'm meeting all these people, I want to go to these places. Mm-hmm. Like this little area I live in right now, there's a lot of people from Iceland. Well, I don't want to go to Iceland. I want to know what that's like. You know what I mean? So you just learn so much about yourself that I just didn't learn in school. I didn't learn as an athlete. I've developed as a person because of this type of profession. And it's looked down on, and people poo-poo it, and people are like, oh, door-to-door. But you got to understand, like, your average door-to-door guy makes more than most Americans. They do. People don't realize that. They think it's like, oh, whatever. And the reason why they're scared of it is because the number one thing is rejection. People are so afraid.
Yeah, how does somebody gets used to saying no or getting the door slammed in their face?
It sucks at first. It sucks because we're raised in a culture in America that...
to be accepted.
Everyone accepts you, and you win a participation badge every single time, and you win, and everything's good, and all. That's not how it works in the real world.
Thanks for showing up. Here's a trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I show up, I should win. Well, no, like you got to put in the work, you got to go through the grind, you got to go through the struggle, and the first 2 months. That's what I tell people in sales. If you can get through the first 2 months of no will never affect you ever again. Like at this point, like when people tell me no, I'm like, well, okay. Whereas normal people, when they hear the word no, like, they lose sleep over it. They take it personal. Yeah, they lose sleep over it. They put chick flicks on, eat a bunch of ice cream. They're like, I can't handle this. They lose their mind because of the word no, because that's the conditioning that we've had all of our lives. Is like, no is bad. No's not no. No just means next. And that's what you have to train yourself in sales is no just means next. Okay? In my life, being a strength coach didn't work. That's a no. I just move on to the next thing. Okay, working in a very constrictive broker that I will not name in this podcast. When I said no to that, I just moved on to the next broker that let me do what I needed to do. And like that's the thing about life is no just means next. It doesn't matter what happens. Like you lose somebody personal in your life. It's sad and it sucks, but it just means you got to move on to the next phase of your life. You get a divorce. You got to move on to the next phase of your life. Your life isn't over because of a divorce.
Well, you think it's over at the moment.
In the moment.
But then you're
like,
okay. You don't move on.
My heart's still beating. I'm still breathing. You know what I mean? Like, you move on. And that's what you deal with failure. That's what you deal with rejection. And that's the thing with sales is I always tell people, anybody can do sales. Anybody can do sales. Most people can't. Does that make sense? Anybody can, but most people can't. And the reason why... most people
can't.
Yeah, exactly. Most people don't want to because they don't want to deal with no. No sucks for a lot of people. It hurt, back to your example. That girl that was like, oh my goodness, put some makeup on your face. If someone told her that would devastate her soul.
No, I told her, I said, well, don't look at it if you don't like it. I work sales right now, and I work door-to-door sales too, in the hot, lovely Florida weather.
Amen, sister.
And then it's 2 o'clock, it just started raining, and you just better bring a big umbrella with you.
Yeah.
But I'd have people slam the door and be like, no, get out of here. I'm like, okay, have a good one.
See ya.
Like, I would always finish, I'm like, okay, have a great day. Yeah. And, like, people that I would train would be like, they just slammed the door on me. I was like, it's okay. I was like, they probably drip coffee on their shirts. I was like, that's not with me.
Yeah, it's just not taking things personal.
Like I wouldn't take it personal. A lot of people take it personal.
Yeah, you also think about this too, is there's 7 billion people on the planet.
One person who's going to let it affect you.
Exactly. 7 billion people. Like, we know that number, but we don't really conceive what that number is, what that actually looks like. Mm-hmm. 7 billion is a lot of people.
It's a lot.
Even if a percentage of a percentage of a percentage tell me no, who cares? You know, it's cliche, you know, plenty of fish in the sea. The same thing in sales. If someone, like, I will eat 100 no's to get one yes.
Yeah.
And this thing about sales is, like, we'll go through a day and everybody tells us no. We're like, oh, that's the end of the world. The next day, one person says yes, and we think we're the best salesperson on the planet, right? We're like, oh my goodness, I'm so good.
It's a roller coaster.
and that's what you got to deal with. And that's life, though. Life is a roller coaster. You got to deal with it. And a lot of people don't want to deal with life. They don't want to deal with reality. They don't want to deal with rejection. But the people that do will make a lot of money in the sales game. The number one thing that generates money in any industry is sales.
I always say you should have at least one friend that works sales.
100%.
Or, like, you know, like the closest, you are the average of the 5 people closest to your life. Like, at least one of them should work sales. Yeah. One way or another. Like, it's just the mentality just...
And what you'll find is when you do sales, you impact people differently. They look at you differently. And you make people rethink things. I've noticed that in my life. Like, when people come into my life and they figure out what I do and, you know, they're like, dude, how do you handle it? And I explain, like, hey, here's the deal. Like, I get it. I could go out today and not make any money. I could. But I could go out, do one sale, and make half of your paycheck for the whole, you know, I could make what you make in 1 week in one sale. Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, so for me, whatever. I'll eat a couple no's. I'll roll a couple donuts, whatever. But eventually, if you look at my year and your year, I'm going to be in a better position than you are if I can stay consistent and just go after it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like how I view the sales game, if that makes sense.
It does. I would honestly, I read this article one time. It said, females, you should date at least one sales guy.
Whoa.
Like you should have a boyfriend that it's like one boyfriend in your lifetime that has been a salesperson at one point.
Why's that?
And, well, apparently because their logic, their brain just works different and they just feel challenged.
Okay.
And he was like, but you should work, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you finished your MBAs or, you know, you should work at least 6 months on a sales position.
I think so too.
It will teach you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed my mind because, like, for me, and again, I'm not, like, anti-education. I like being fair about education, but, like, you know, people are like, oh, are you worried about where your girls go to college? And I'm like, no. I'm worried about what my girls are going to do, like, and I want to help them be an entrepreneur if they want to be an entrepreneur. I want them to have the freedom that, like, me and my wife have, you know. I want them to have the life that we have, and sometimes college doesn't fit with that, you know, and sometimes, you know, different paths in life don't fit with that, and I just want to teach them to, you know, that's the thing that I think sales has taught me too, is like, you know, it's like Elon Musk talks about all the time. He's like, yeah, I didn't go to an Ivy League school, but I have a lot of people that work for me that did. You know what I mean? And that's the mindset is like, can you build something that lasts? And that's really what sales is. Can you build wealth? Can you build success out of nothing? And that's what sales is every day. You literally go in with nothing and you create something every single day. And that's what I want to teach my girls. True. Yeah.
So I do want to focus a little bit on your books.
No, what? Okay, my books. Oh man. You sure?
Yes.
They're intense.
Yes, they are. Like I said earlier.
They're a little intense.
I was reading the Defined by Definition.
What'd you think?
Big slap on my face.
That's all everybody says.
Loved it.
A good slap or bad slap?
I was like, good, like a wake-up call. I was like, damn you, Ray. I was like, this is some really good stuff in here. I haven't read the second one, Our Rule. I haven't read that yet.
It's okay.
How did you get the book's idea started? You have so much to say you wanted to write it down? Yeah,
I got sick of... this goes back to our other conversation. I got really sick of how... This is going to sound so bad. I'll just say it. I got sick of how most direct marketing firms try to teach people how to be leaders. And I won't use the name of the broker that we used before. I don't need to joke, whatever. But what they were saying was complete bullcrap.
We are definitely not dropping the name.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get you libel sued or whatever by whoever. But a lot of these direct marketing firms that teach sales, they have good intentions.
Yeah.
and their goal is to teach you how to be a leader. And the problem is that, like,
not everybody can be a leader.
Not everybody can be a leader. 2, the way you're teaching it sucks, and I thought it was bad. So the whole point was defined by definition. It was defying the lies that we've been taught. There's a lot of people that are in leadership that don't know how to lead, that are trying to teach other people how to lead. It's like the blind leading the blind. If you haven't actually done leadership, or because for me it's this, leadership is this, and we've seen the cliche memes, you know what I mean? Yeah. The boss is up there pushing people and telling people to go, and the leader's out front. You've got to be the example in life before you can lead other people. Sorry. That is the one thing that people don't understand. And it doesn't mean that you have to be like excellent or not even excellent, or you have to achieve a lot of different things. But if you're not willing to do the things you're saying you're going to do, you can't lead people. And when you have places and industries like in the direct marketing firms that say one thing and do a complete opposite other thing, that's not leadership. It's called hypocrisy. People can smell through that all day long. They can smell through the fake crap. So for me in leadership, when I was trying to teach people, like this for me was, at the time, taking all my morning meetings, all the things that I would teach my guys, and hopefully life lessons they've taken on to whatever they're doing now and stuff like that, and help them be the best person they can be first, and secondly, then become the best leader that they can be. Because at the end of the day, if you suck as a person, and I don't mean morally, I mean like just, if you just suck, and everybody knows what a sucky person is, okay? We all know what that is. I don't have to define that. But if you suck as a human being... The person that just sucks the energy out of you and just so negative. Yeah, like if you just suck as a human being, you can't lead people.
Yeah.
And the problem is in the industry we were in, they would put people that have no business leading other people, trying to teach other people how to lead, and that's not what you do. You actually find real leaders. Leaders are not...
easy to be found.
They're not easy to find, man. Not everybody's a leader, and that's the problem. Is everybody's like, everybody can be a leader, and I love Tony Robbins, and he's like, everybody can.
Not I'm going to his conference on 27.
I love
in
listen,
Atlanta. Yeah.
Now let me say this: I love Tony Robbins' stuff. I loved his conference; it was intense. I loved it. I learned a lot. But the reality is this, man: not everybody's going to be a leader. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not. They're like, there are people that you could teach them all the skills to be a leader, but they're never going to be a leader. 1, because they won't decide to, and 2, they just don't have the ability to do it. And that's hard to say, because in our culture, we're like, you can be anything you want. I can't be a ballerina dancer. Yeah. Sorry. Can't do it.
That would be
It would be hilarious.
Yeah.
My big belly over some, tights, but I can't do that.
Do you think you can discover leaders, though?
Yes. And I think a lot of times, and this is what I talk about in the book, is we smash. The problem is we elevate people that aren't leaders to leadership, and then we try to push people down that are leaders out because, God forbid, they question narratives. God forbid they are who they are. Leaders are naturally defiant. That is that's what I talk about a lot in the book. I say defiant. I got so sick of spelling that in my book, but that was the whole point of the book. Was I have never met a leader that's ultra compliant. Sorry. I hate to diss valedictorians. If you were one, I'm not dissing them and so on and so forth. But valedictorians are the most compliant people on the planet. That's why they're elevated to valedictorian. But if you look at, like, statistically, the people who do really, really well in life are the C students. They're the people who are like, screw this, why am I doing homework? Those are the ones that are the most successful. Valedictorians are average people because they're really good at following the rules. That's not what a leader is. Leaders naturally break the rules. They do.
Break the chain.
They break the chain. They break the bullcrap. They break the conditioning. They break the social norms. You cannot lead if you are compliant. I'm sorry. Like, my whole life, like, I was supposed to be a football player. If you're sitting with me right now, you're like, oh, he's a football player. Every person that comes up to me, oh, where do you play football? Where'd you play football? I didn't play football. I used to tell them, my joke was, I'm too strong to play football. That's what I tell people. They're like, well, you're a thrower? Oh, my goodness. Whatever.
Yeah.
As a strength and conditioning coach, it's like, people pigeonhole you and think you're stupid because you're in the gym all the time. Well, I got a master's degree. Like, and I've written some books. I'm pretty good at what I'm good with my words. I'm good at writing things down. I'm not a dumb dude. You know what I mean? I break that rule. As working for the other broker, though, I won't talk about, so on and so forth. I never listened to the rules.
Yeah.
As if it didn't make sense to me, why am I doing it? If you're going to tell me I'm an entrepreneur and I'm leading people and your plan sucks, I'm going to take my people a different direction. Because it sucks. I may be wrong. I could swing and miss. But you know what? Part of leadership is defiance. You have to defy that stuff. And that's really what the crux of my book was. And that's really what I was about. And it's really breaking down concepts and really rewiring people to things that they think are good that aren't necessarily good. Like I have another book that I've written. I've actually got to publish it. I've just been lazy, just to be honest with you. It's called Cliches. It's the same thing. It's just taking cliche thoughts that people have and really turning them on themselves and be like, listen, is it really better to do this? Like, people are always like, oh, it's better. This is the one that, I'll give you an example from the book, the third book I've got. Literally, it's edited.
Yeah.
Just got to publish it. But everybody always says, and this is a good one, this is like sexy and everybody thinks it's awesome, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Well, yeah, you're right. It's better to ask for forgiveness and permission. You're going forward, but why are you asking anything at all? That's what I always ask. Just do it. I don't give a crap if I need forgiveness. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I'm just going to do. And that's 90, Gary Vee talks about all the time. Just do. 99% of life is doing. And that's what leadership is. It's doing, not responding. It's not reacting. It's not listening. It's just doing. And yes, you want to listen. Yes, you want to do all those things. But leadership is an act of defiance by nature. We are designed to be followers. We're designed to listen to other people. We're designed to do the things that make people happy.
Yeah.
Leadership is not that. It's lonely. It sucks. It pisses people off. You're going to rub people the wrong way. Our president pisses off millions of people every single day. Whether you like him or love him, he's doing a lot of great things. But that's what leadership is. Leadership is not being the nice, sweet guy everybody likes and sucking. Sorry. Like, it just is what it is. Here's the thing. I always tell people this. I present, females this idea. Do you want the guy that's sweet, kind, beautiful, blah, 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 but is a complete waste of life?
No.
No. Even if he's rough and gruff, and he smells a little bit sometimes, which all guys do, right? You want the guy that's ambitious, that wants to get after it, that wants to take over, that wants to be a great dad and all that, so on and so forth. You don't want the sweetie, because here's the guy. The other guy that I'm describing, is the guy that you put in the friend zone all the time.
Yeah.
He's friend zone guy. Oh, he's really nice, he's sweet, but I would never marry him, you know? And that's leadership. Like, we want people that may or may not be great on the outside, but they get the job done. And I think that's what leadership is. Does that make sense?
It does. So you actually brought up an interesting point.
Yes.
This is a discussion that I had with my friend recently.
Okay.
Going back to the guy.
Guys,
yes, but this is my brain.
Yeah.
It just works tiny different again. So when I look into somebody to date, I always think, okay, who are they?
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing? Are they just sitting on the couch?
Yep.
What job do they have?
Yep.
What is their 5-year plan? And these are questions that I ask on first dates.
Yeah.
But apparently I come out as, looking for the money. And I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm working full-time and if I'm going to school full-time and if I have a podcast and if I have so much going on, people, not me, but other girls or other boys out there, they're not just going to settle for just the average Joe.
Yeah, so people do one of two things for you. They either accelerate you or they slow you down.
Yeah. Why would you need somebody to slow you down?
Yeah, right.
You can do that yourself.
Yeah, I've had a discussion with my wife. There are times in my life where I've been so balls to the wall and crazy and ambitious, and she loves that and pulls her along. But there have been times where I've been like, dude, I just need to chill for 2 seconds and blah, blah, blah. But she kicks me right in the butt and gets me and snaps me like a rubber band back where you need to be. Now, to be fair to the males out there, okay, there's a large contingency. There are women that are looking for men that just pay my bills. Yeah, pay my bills. I'll snap some Instagram booty pictures and get attention and blah blah blah. And there are ladies that do that.
And that's the superficial society that we're talking about earlier.
Exactly. I think that when you're trying to be a leader and you're trying to look for somebody, I would just ask a question: does that person make you a better person?
Yeah.
If they don't, probably not a good person to be around you. Because here's the thing, there are going to be people that you elevate. I always think that there's always somebody that, back to your mentorship thing, there's somebody that you should aspire to be, but there's also somebody that you need to bring along and help along. And but in relationships, that's not the case. In relationships, you look for somebody that, no offense, you look for somebody that's better than you. You want somebody, like, you want to shoot up, because that's going to elevate you, but also elevate them at the same time. And when I picked my wife, like, she made me a better person. She challenged me on things. She told me I was an idiot on some things. Like, when we first met, I was a hardcore Democrat. My wife's a Republican. We challenge each other. I'm still a registered Democrat. Fun fact, I'm still a registered Democrat, even though I'm such a hardcore anti-Democrat at this point. But
that's interesting.
It's fun. But she challenged me.
Yeah.
In a good way. And it was good. It elevated my thought process and made me think more for myself. It got me out of the box, got me out of my bubble of what I thought for so long. And you want those kind of people. And if no offense, if a guy thinks it's intimidating, well, here's the thing. If he's intimidated, it's probably not the right guy anyways. Let's get real with ourselves. Let's get real. If this is what I'm teaching my girls. If you're too intimidating for a guy, it's not a you thing. It's not a you thing, it's a them thing. Let's get real with ourselves.
That's true. But I want to kind of go back to your wife changing your opinion. Did she use a lot of logic to it? And she just challenged your ideas? And it just opened another box in your brain? Like, how did you went from one party to the other?
To defend myself.
Talk to me through the transition.
To defend myself, this is what I will say. I was not a big fan of George W. Bush's policy.
Okay.
I'm still not. I still, for me, Obama and Bush are kind of the same exact person. They're just the same swampy people in the same type of coin. For me, what changed my politics was a couple things. One, I've always thought independently. Mm-hmm. I like to think of the issues. I've kind of been forced on the right just because of how ugly things have gotten, if that makes sense. But I think what my wife did was challenge. I think it's good to have your rooted ideas challenged. She did that.
Because then you can really find out if those are your rooted ideas or just little weeds around there.
Exactly. And that's why, like, I tell people, like, listen to podcasts of people you disagree with.
Yeah.
Read books that you wouldn't agree with. Like, read other things. Like, I've read the Quran. I don't agree with anything that's in the Quran at all.
But you educated yourself.
There's things in the Catholic Church I do not agree with. There are things that I don't agree with Buddhism, but there are things that you learn from these other things that challenge your beliefs and challenge whether those core beliefs are what they are. Same thing in politics, same thing in life. But challenge yourself. Expose yourself to things that you wouldn't think that you would expose yourself to. She's a Steelers fan too, which, first of all, I hate the Steelers, okay? So I married a girl that's a Steelers fan and was a Republican. I was a Bengals fan and a Democrat. So I was the complete opposite world with her. But, what do they say, opposites attract or something like that?
Yeah,
that oppositeness kind of attracted me to her. That I was like, you know what? I kind of want to know what's going on. Yeah, I want to know what that's all about. You know what I mean? Sorry, we're having some fun things over here.
So, challenging yourself.
Yes.
What would you say to those people that have an idea? Like, for example, me, I want to do the podcast for the longest time. And like I posted yesterday, the book Can't Hurt Me from David Coggins. A great book. I don't know if you read it.
I haven't read it yet.
It's really, really good. They was kind of like, hey, you're just going to have all these ideas, bubble. You have great ideas, build your own podcast, but you're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I finished the book, sticky notes all over my room. Like, I literally split the room, like sticky notes, personal, career.
Yeah.
And I've just been going for it. But a lot of people are worried about sometimes, like, to go for your dream. Especially writing a book or publishing something.
Yeah.
Like, what did you say to those people that just need one push?
Les Miles says the richest place on the planet is in the grave. It's where the money is. It's where your ideas are. God puts you on this planet for a reason. If you have ideas and you're not pursuing them, you're not living the life you're supposed to be here for. Sorry. There's going to be sacrifice in life, but at the end of the day, like, if you have a book idea and you're not writing your book, you're wasting the gift.
That can help somebody else.
Yeah. That book could help other people out. It could challenge people. It could slap people in the face in a fun way, whatever.
That was a good wake-up call, Ray. That's all I had to say.
But, like, was it Ben Franklin said, like, if you're going to live life, like, I'm butchering this quote, but it's either live a life worth writing about or write a book about
worth
life.
Reading.
Yeah, worth reading. Yeah, that's it, worth reading. That to me was the challenge. I was like, I need to live a life worth writing about, or I need to write a book worth reading, and that's kind of where I'm at. And it doesn't always have to be a book; it could be a podcast.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing right now. This is your way of expressing who you are, learning, because you're learning a lot from just this, from the people you're learning from, you're developing.
I say, like, I hope the listeners will learn at least one new thing. But me personally, I just felt like I've learned so much, just even to, like, ask better questions or just to, you know, reach out and just be like, hey, I haven't seen you forever.
Yeah.
I will meet you. Let's have a conversation.
That's good. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, don't let your great ideas die in the grave with you. That's stupid. What a waste. And the thing for me is, like, success is, like, living a life that's not regretted. Like, you don't want to regret things. That's the thing that they talk about all the time. Like, people on their deathbed, the number one thing they hate is regret. It's regret. I wish I would have, and I wish I would have, and I wish I would have done this. That's not a good life. That's not a good life to live. And you know that when you're in that. There's, like, that little voice in your head that's like, why haven't you done this yet?
Go for it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah, and for me, what was it, 3 years ago? No, like 4 years ago? You know, like, people were like, you should write a book. 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 Maybe I should write a book. Maybe I should put all these ideas down. And then I was like, oh, I actually have cohesive ideas. I can actually get this together. And I was like, well, I'm not a brainy guy. I mean, how can I write a book and blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write a chapter.
Yeah.
See what happens. Wrote my first chapter, let my wife read it. She's like, this is pretty good. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. Maybe I'll write another chapter. Then I wrote 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 like 20-some chapters. I'm like, I only put certain of them in Defined by Definition. I put the other ones in Cliche.
Yeah.
And it's like crazy, like what happens when you just allow yourself to express
step by
thing.
step.
Yeah, step by step. Step 1 is just get in front of a computer. Step 2, move your fingers. Step 3.
One sentence at a time.
Yeah, you know, and that's what it is. That's training in the gym. That's sales. That's life. That's marriage. That's being a parent. That's anything.
Some people want from 0 to 100 real quick, though, but that's just not possible.
Yeah, but the problem is that's comparison. And that goes back to what we were talking about before. That's another deadly thing. It's like we compare so much about what other people are doing. Well, what's this person doing? Who gives a crap? Do you? I love and respect LeBron James. But LeBron James has no power in my life. But LeBron was 16 and then he became an NBA star. I'll never be that. So what? That wasn't your calling in life. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, no offense. I would never trade being a dad to those girls to go play for the Lakers. That sounds crazy to a lot of people. I don't care. That is more infinitely valuable to me than anything else. And even if nobody ever reads my book, so what? At least I did it. At least I stepped out and did those things and I expressed those things. Because here's the thing. Those words, especially books, they're immortal. They will live on beyond me, you know? Maybe one of my great-grandkids will pick it up and be like, hey, my great-grandpa wrote this book. Whoa, he was intense. He could slap me in the face. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I definitely know what's going to happen if I don't write that book. I definitely know what's going to happen if I don't go for that dream. I definitely know what's going to happen if I don't do that podcast. Because the podcast was the same thing. Like, I would talk politics with people all the time. And they're like, why don't you put this on radio?
Yeah.
My buddy Matt, literally the guy who I do that podcast with, he's like, well, dude, why don't we do this on a podcast? I'm like, okay. And he's like, what? I was like, okay, let's do it.
What do we need? We need a camera? What do we need?
He's like, really? Well, like literally, because he had never, like, and I'll pick on Matt. I don't think he's ever been challenged that way.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I say I'm going to write a book, I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go lift that weight. Okay, I'll do it. We'll do a podcast? Okay, let's do it. What? Okay, see you next week. And guess what? We got in front of a crappy little laptop. Our first one sucked.
Yeah.
But guess what? We did it. We talked about it.
How long has it been now?
Man, we've been doing we do it for 2 years now. We're 2 years into our podcast. We got like cameras and donors and Patreons and all that weird stuff, you know. It's not tons of money. I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, you make so much money. It's not. It's like side hustle, you know, whatever money.
But you're passionate about it more.
Yeah, we're passionate about what we do and we're excited about it. And it's kind of cool taking this break because now I want to be with him because I'm used to him sitting there and I'm right there, you know, when we do this thing.
Yeah, I was like, this is the couch for the podcast.
This is the podcast couch. But he's been able to get his own house. He's got his own house now, you know, which is exciting. And we're growing as people as we're growing with this podcast. And it's been really cool. You know, we're going to be on Twitch here pretty soon. Plausible Foolishness, a plug on Twitch. We got away from YouTube. We're just not in the YouTube world anymore. It's just, YouTube's getting a little too crazy for whatever reason. It's just getting a little too sensory for us. We're not about that life. But
too sensitive.
Yeah, too much censorship. We like freedom. So that's why we're going to Twitch. But check us out. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I have my own personal podcast. It's called The Voice of Dissent. I do that every once in a while.
Yeah.
I just do a lot of different things, and I get the ideas out. Like when they come in, I just express them. I get them out, and I think that's what's allowed me to be successful as a business owner. It's what allowed me to be successful as a coach and in life and as a dad and stuff like that. It's just life's too short, man. Like I just assume I'm going to die tomorrow. I just always do that. I just assume, hey, I'm probably going to die tomorrow.
You're not scared of talking about death.
No, because I know where I'm going. You know,
Yeah.
like when you're a Christian, you know where you're going. It's like every day. Because here's the deal. Fun fact. I was born, like, I was supposed to die when I was a little kid. I was, like, on incubators and stuff like that. So,
Really?
like, yeah, like, all my early pictures are, like, I have, like, wires and tubes in me and stuff like that.
I would never think that.
No, yeah, my dad, like, had to hold me when I got a spinal tap. I got a spinal tap when I was a baby.
Oh, my
He
goodness.
said it was the worst thing that he'd ever had to experience, but I went from that little itty-bitty guy to this, 400-pound guy that's in front of you, whatever.
How tall are you?
6'4".
6'4".
6'4", 400 fatty. But still all fat. The cool thing is like I'm on borrowed time. Like every second I have above nothing is a gift, and I think that's a gift from God. And I think people just waste that gift, man. We waste that every single day. We just show up and exist, and God's given us this amazing place, this amazing world, amazing people, voices and thoughts and things, and voices, thoughts, and things. Voices, thoughts, and beauty, and music, and all these cool things that we could be into, and we don't because we're worried about what other people think, or we're worried about stupid stuff, or insecurities, or all this BS. You could be dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's going to live beyond you?
What do you leave behind?
Yeah, what are you going to leave behind? What am I going to leave for my girls? What am I going to leave for my wife? What am I going to... I'm not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And I know that. I'm going to be with my Savior very soon. I mean, whether that's tomorrow or hopefully 80 years down the road, I don't know. Who knows? We have the technology to stay alive long enough. But I'm just enjoying every single moment that I have on this planet. And that's why I love what I do. And that's why I love my life. And that's why I'm able to write books and travel and podcast and do cool stuff that people don't want to do. Like, I'm not loaded. I don't make tons of money. I don't make whatever. But I make a decent living. And I take care of my family.
You're in or happy.
Super happy.
Yeah, that's mostly important. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. People have all these cool catchphrases for what success is. Success is this.
And that was actually my very last question.
What?
The definition of success.
Here it is.
I'm always intrigued.
Listen, the definition of success, no matter what people want to tell you, it's this. The definition of success is being where you want to be, not where you have to be. That's all it is. And let me break that down to you, because a lot of people screw this up.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, I'm where I want to be. No, you're not. And let me define what want to be is. If you're in a place where you're bitching about your life,
that's not where you're living.
You're not where you want to be. Because I'll have people tell me that all the time. Oh yeah, man, and I'm not dissing people from Ohio. I love Ohio. I grew up in Ohio and so on and so forth. But I hear this all the time. I'm going really long. I'm so sorry.
You're good. I just want to make sure it was still recording.
People in Ohio will be like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool where I'm at. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at.
Are you though?
But then they're on Facebook 3 seconds later bitching about blah, 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 blah. You're not where you want to be.
Yeah.
You're not. Quit fooling yourself. You are where you have to be right now. And then people will be like, well, this is where I want to be. I'm content. I'm whatever. If you feel or hear a voice in the back of your head saying that you could be doing more, you're not where you want to be.
Yeah.
Like, how I define this is when you get to the end of the day, you look at the mirror, and you look yourself square in the eyes in the mirror and say, man, what a phenomenal day. This is the day that I wanted to have. You're successful. Whether that's Bill Gates, billions of dollars, or whether that's, dad that makes $30,000 a year, but guess what? His family's happy, his kids are happy, life's good. Listen, I'm in a place in my life right now where I don't answer to anybody other than God and my wife. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
I look at my girls every single day. They're happy. They're beautiful. They're fed. The house is a complete wreck. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
My wife, loves me. She doesn't deal with me, right? Like E.T. talks about Eric, the hip hop preacher. I don't know if you've heard of him before. He's like, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. My wife celebrates me. My family celebrates me. People celebrate me. You're obviously here talking to me for some crazy reason. I don't know why. You know what I mean? But that to me is success more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's not being a consultant in some direct marketing firm or blah, blah, blah bullcrap. It's not that. It's not being the head strength coach at whatever university. It's not. It's literally, are you where you want to be versus where you have to be?
Yeah.
I want to be here doing this interview with you. I want to go eat those donuts that you brought me here and stuff like that. I'm going to go celebrate I'm about to turn 35, which is crazy, with my family here. I want to go to the Turkish restaurant.
Your birthday's in a couple of days.
Yeah, man, it's weird. I'm going to be 35. I never thought I was going to live that long, but, it is what it is.
I remember my dad's 35th birthday.
Yeah.
I was drinking beer and eating meatballs. Because that's back home. We don't have a drinking age.
Amen.
And going back to my dad being my best friend, so just...
Yeah, man.
Being there.
But,
we covered a lot.
I did.
You did.
Was it good? Was it entertaining?
Absolutely. No, it was actually so I got the slap from your book, and then I got another slap, so I feel like my face is straight now.
I'm curious, what was the slap? What was the number one slap from the book? What did you get?
Well...
I always love hearing feedback when people read this thing, so...
So, I haven't read the full book.
Okay,
I have, the last 2 chapters.
Okay.
But... I love how you started, little man, doing the little things, and I was like, okay, there's so little, and I was like, do I want to be little? I was like, no, I'm pretty awesome. And then someday, you mentioned the someday often, and then out of nowhere, one of the podcasts that I did with my friend, which the podcast is out, with a filmmaker, film producer, she's like, someday it's not a day, and I was like, I just read that on Ray's book. I was like, this is not what I need to hear right now. Because I always talk about how I want to... So, my long-term goal is that I want to be a consultant, but not necessarily, million-dollar businesses.
Yeah.
I want to be a consultant to a small firm and just help sell people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I want to have a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And the nonprofit that I want to have is I want to have this operational office, and I want to help people that... don't know how to, how to answer interview questions, don't know how to dress for an interview, don't know how to build a resume.
Yeah.
Or they need those clothes for the interview.
Yeah.
I want to help if you have a family of 4 people and none of them can get jobs, I want to help one of them get the job.
That's awesome.
And help them. And maybe the family can have food on the table. Things like that. That's the nonprofit that I want to do.
Okay.
And my long-term goal is hopefully after we have 50 podcasts, I want to get everybody all together.
Nice.
And then just try to,
network
with people and either start building my nonprofit and actually make my own foundation or partner up with another one and help those people's needs.
Very cool.
That's what I feel like appeasing myself. But at the same time, it would be me... That's what I think consulting, because that's what consulting is to me.
Yeah.
Helping others.
Yeah.
It's not about me telling you, it's this much fee for me to consult you, and you're just going to struggle even more when I'm supposed to be there and help you how to, grow your business. It doesn't logically make sense to me.
Yes.
And of course, family and everything, but that's what I want to do. And I was like, someday, and I keep talking about this nonprofit idea to my brother. Yep. And I was like, bro, I'm going to start the podcast. It's like, okay, what you going to do?
Do it right now.
And I started doing it, and even he was like, you're so happy talking about this podcast? Yeah. It's like, you're just a whole different world right now.
Yes.
So that's what the book was like, okay, I'm gonna, I've been like, an interview here. I was like, okay, someday I need to stop saying someday. I'll just do it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, that book was more for me than anybody else. And that's why I tell people is... Because I get that same response. It's always like, dude, you just kicked me in the balls, or you kicked me whatever. I'm like,
yeah.
That was for me. That was for me 100%. And I had to learn those things, like, stop saying someday.
Yeah.
Someday I'll work out. No. I'm getting up today. This morning I'm like, I'm going to go deadlift today.
Yeah.
I had no clothes. But showing up is 90% of the battle. Now you got to execute. You got to win. You got to do whatever. But a lot of people just don't even show up.
Yeah.
You driving 2 hours or whatever it was to get down here to do a podcast, it shows commitment to what you want to do. So, listen, when you got your 50th podcast, let me know. Come hang out and stuff like that.
Yes, that's the goal. We're going to do 50 podcasts, all the interviewers, we're going to get them all together.
Yeah.
And that was my idea. I was like, I'm probably going to start the Romina Foundation.
That's awesome.
Or, just do that's what I'm passionate about.
Just do it.
I just think a lot of people have so much potential, and you don't have that hope. You know, that somebody just needs, just the hand to be given to change the path of their own life or whole family.
I think Romina can do that.
So, yeah. And that's when I say I hope everybody learns at least one new thing from this podcast.
I like it. Hopefully they learned something. Hopefully it was entertaining. I wasn't too bored.
Yeah. No, I learned a lot myself, too, so I hope they learn a lot more. Oh, my goodness. We covered a lot, and you just made me spill a secret.
Yes.
The whole nonprofit thing.
Yes.
But yeah,
spill the secrets.
I'll put it out there. You call it to the universe, right?
You put it in the universe now, you gotta go for it.
Yeah, I have to. No more, just my brother knows. Any last minute thing that you want to add, Ray?
Nothing. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you coming down here. And
thank you for taking your time.
Hey, no problem.
I know I'm taking time out of your family because you're about to go and celebrate your own birthday.
Get some Turkish food. I'm excited.
Woohoo.
Turkish coffee. You like Turkish food?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I was married to a Turkish guy.
True that. That's true. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
Okay. It's the same type of food: Albanian, Turkish, kebabs, all of them.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah.
I actually drink Turkish coffee instead of American coffee all the time.
Because I was getting coffee this morning, but I was like, no, I'm getting Turkish coffee today. But I'm excited about that big bread. You know those big, like they inflate the bread where it's like a big ball of bread, and then you pop it and you like hummus. Oh, I'm excited about that.
Have you ever tried warm hummus?
No.
Oh God, you're missing out. Yes, very good.
I'm gonna try it today.
Yes, warm hummus is the best.
Hey, I'm down.
So, I'm going to cut the podcast. We covered a lot of material, and I'm getting hungry because we're talking about food now.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll go ahead and...
I do want to plug one thing. Let me plug something. Make sure you check out Divine by Definition. That's the book that she was talking about. I Will Rule. I've got Cliche that's going to come out at the end of the year. Podcast for me is Plausible Foolishness. You can check us out on YouTube. We have 60 episodes on YouTube right now. 60 plus episodes on YouTube if you want to check us out. And then we're going to be coming on Twitch on July 11th. And then what else do I got out there? Voice of Dissent is out there as well on Anchor. And that's supposed to be. Sorry, shameless plug at the end.
I was actually just gonna say I'll post all the links for the information for him, all the book links and everything. So if you guys want to reach out to Ray, definitely go ahead and do that. Cool. And if you do, just say Romina send me, and we're good.
Thanks, Romina.
Absolutely, thank you.